And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, everybody. It is Saturday, May 31st. Game 6 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals are upon us. Do the Pacers win today? Do the Knicks save it and give us a Game 7 on Monday? We shall see. I'm Josh Engelman. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engelman. What's up, everybody? What's going on, chat? The real AD hits me with the member message right out of the gate. Where is Greg? Greg did the MLB show earlier today and not this one. But I'm here to break this bad boy down. We're live on Playback right now, playback.tv/Stokastic. That is where you can go to watch the game after this. Link in chat. But we got to talk about this game and what we have upon us for today. Because we got a little news earlier. Probably not news we wanted, but we did get news nonetheless. And that news is Tony Bradley is active today. But whether or not he plays, up in the air. So, you know, do with that what you will. But basically, we have no idea if Tony Bradley is physically capable of playing today, if they need to play him today. Pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. By all accounts, Aaron Nesmith is healthy in that he is not on the injury report. I don't totally believe that. Don't know why he's not listed, but that's where we're at. So we need to approach this kind of weird. Because right now, Tony Bradley is pulling 8% ownership. Scroll down for that one. Right here. Thomas Bryant is sitting there at 1K. 1.5% owned. Thinking to myself, does he get a rotation? Because let's say they split the minutes. At that point, then, your goal is, I need Thomas Bryant to just beat Tony Bradley. Now, you also then need to beat your DeLon Wright, your Landry Shamet, your Ben Shepherds. So there are other options that are available. But that's an interesting dynamic if you're trying to get different. We have two separate 1K-ish centers going for the Pacers today, and we don't have a ton of confidence in them. That's great for showdown. Could be big swings one way, could be big swings the other way. But for right now, it's kind of interesting. Jarris Walker got on the floor in Game 5. I'm not a huge believer in him getting minutes today, but home crowd could get behind him. You never know. It's obviously a push-pull with DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet. We got Precious Achiuwa last time out when Cat was in foul trouble. Lots of different value options that we could bounce around on today. And that says nothing for a $2,400 Ben Shepherd or a $2,800 Miles McBride, who still got 18 minutes last time out. Mathurin is at 4,400 right now. He's intriguing, I guess. We have a lot of value on this slate. Well, let's start it off by looking at the top end. Tyrese Halliburton, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Pascal Siakam. They are the guys pulling the large majority of captain ownership. North of 20% to Tyrese Halliburton, and then call it 12 apiece for Towns, Brunson, and Siakam. I do think that stands out a bit, given the fact that those three guys all have essentially the same ownership. Personally, I prefer Halliburton the most here, if I'm being honest. 11-2, so you get a $400 discount on Brunson. Did the defense change up a little bit on Halliburton last time out? Yeah. Can that be corrected here? I think also, yeah. You throw something new at Rick Carlisle in Game 5, we might not have the answer to it. You throw that back at him again in Game 6 with Tyrese Halliburton at home, I'm feeling a little bit better that Rick Carlisle has an answer to the defensive changes that we saw from the Knicks in Game 5. So on my last sim run, Tyrese Halliburton was my most exposed captain. Not to say that I wasn't also over on Towns, over on Brunson, neutral to Siakam. That's sort of the lane that I take on slates like this, especially as we work our way deeper into the series, in any series like that. Because now is the time that we would expect to start consolidating minutes on either side. Now it's hard, it's a little harder on the Pacers side to consolidate minutes in the same way, just because they play at a much faster pace than the Knicks. But I think it is very live for us to not see nearly as much of DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, whatever on the end, and we get those bigger minute games from Hart, from Anunoby, from Bridges. Because eventually, I mean, at this point now, we've got 2 games. The Knicks got to win them both. We know how good the rest of the guys on this team are, and it becomes an interesting balance of, is the 41st minute of Jalen Brunson better than the second minute of DeLon Wright? How long can you leave those guys out there? Because when push comes to shove, you got 240 minutes today to use. You have a better chance to win generally when you consolidate those minutes on the better players. Tibbs does tend to do that. Knicks will start Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Towns, and Robinson. So sticking with the double bigs makes sense, I guess. I'm not surprised by it. How has the double big lineup looked so far in this series? It's a question I don't know the answer to, but only one way to find out. I'll pull it up for you guys, actually. Why not? How good has the double big been? All right, this series started on the 21st, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, the 20th? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 21st. I was right the first time. Towns, Anunoby, Bridges, Brunson, Robinson. All 5 on. 37 minutes plus 11. Plus 13 and a half in the 73. That's not the right. There's no way it's only 3 games played. No, there's no way that's only 3 games played. Am I getting the dates wrong? Weird. I don't know why that's aggregating to 3 games. That doesn't make any sense. We got an ownership update yet? I guess we're technically waiting on the Pacers starting lineup, but I mean, boy, would that be some wild nonsense. Can you imagine if we got a change there because of Nesmith and we had no idea about it? God, that would be irritating. But technically, we don't have a Pacers starting lineup yet, so I'm guessing we haven't run anything yet, which we shouldn't. You never know. Oh, we did 3 minutes ago. All right. Still sitting at 23% for Halliburton. Still in that like 12 to 13% for Towns, Brunson, and Siakam. My expectation is that I'm over the field on Tyrese Halliburton. I know the questions that are going to come into chat right now are going to be largely, what about every other guy I don't talk about at captain? So just get them out of the way now. I know the questions are coming for Turner, McConnell, Toppin, Hart, Anunoby, Bridges, Robinson, Nembhard, Nesmith. You'll probably go a little bit lower. Sure. It's all about what's in the rest of the lineup. I have shares of Hart, Anunoby, Bridges, Turner. That'll probably get randomized after we go. I prefer focusing on the main 4 guys today. At least on my last run, the big 4 in this series were making up 91% of my captain exposure. So my focus is on those 4 guys and being different elsewhere. I guess I should probably start on what I'm different on. because it's slightly different than it was earlier today. There's the Pacers lineup: Halliburton, Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, and Turner. Clearly exactly what we were expecting. So I'm going to wait like a minute or two, let anything that we're going to have refresh. But I'll talk about what I had, because with the starting lineups not doing anything, not that we expected it to, I think it's easier to just talk about what I'm doing for today's slate. So hit that like button. Here we go. Ooh, Rich says it's current. Rich, you're not running anything else at this point? Dope. I'll let it rip. Appreciate you. Shout out to Rich, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get that run, but I'll continue to talk about it because this is not going to change all that much. And I'm going to start with Obi Toppin. And he is my biggest fade, at least prior to this last run. And I would just want to show you why. It becomes very easy to do so. When Obi Toppin has been on the floor in this series, he's played 88 minutes. They are -7 per 100 possessions in those 88 minutes. The offense, 118.7. That's, a little bit better than average. You can't complain there. He is shooting 1 for 11 from 3 at that time. And the team is still shooting 41%. The interesting piece, the piece that makes me completely okay with fading Obi Toppin today, is the fact that in the 88 minutes that he's been out there, they're giving up 126 points per 100 possessions. This dude is next level bad defensively. And they are getting worked over like a speed bag when he's on the floor. So, while I can't guarantee that they don't just continue to run him out there, this dude's giving up points in bunches. If they trim him at all in a pivotal game 6, I wouldn't be mad about it. That's all I'm going to say. He was my biggest fade. We'll see if that continues. But he was sitting there at a crisp 38% overall ownership, so I'm not super mad that I don't have a ton of them. The other guy that is my biggest fade right now is TJ McConnell at 4K. These two guys right now are the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Outside of the big 4 plus Turner, McConnell and Toppin are the next two guys up on the list in terms of ownership, both sitting at 38%. I had about a third of the field of both of those guys prior to me running everything. That's another guy that I am not mad about not having. They both scare me. It's always going to scare me to not have good offensive players that suck on defense. Because every once in a while, the suck on defense part just doesn't matter and you're left holding the bag. But in this case, I'm not too upset. They're losing the minutes that TJ McConnell is out there, unsurprisingly. Much like Obi Toppin, he gets beaten like a drum defensively, 124.5 points per 100 possessions. Not to mention opponents are only shooting 35% from 3, so it's not even shooting luck. I'm nervous that they make more defensive-leaning decisions in a game 6, if they have to. So light on Toppin, light on McConnell. It's still more Pacers that I'm light on here. The next one up is Miles Turner at 7,400. And I think the large path that my lineups are taking is getting away from this chunk of ownership in Turner, McConnell, and Toppin. Because I've got plenty of Halliburton, plenty of Towns, and plenty of Brunson. But I am losing out on that big chunk of ownership, and I'm taking it in other places. And I'm honestly pretty happy about it. No part of that is something where I'm anti that direction. It's going in line with everything I feel about this series, which, by the way, I expect the Pacers to win today, just in case I didn't say that. But I assume the Pacers pick up the dub in this one. A little light on Nembhard, a little light on Mikal Bridges. Not too big of a take on either one of them. Nembhard hasn't looked great offensively in this series, and I've been light on Bridges the entire time. The guys that I'm taking a stand on, or at least the guys I took a stand on my last run, Not fun names. But if I'm playing as much Halliburton and Towns and Brunson as I am, then the natural position for me to get to at this point, very simply, it's the paydowns. It is Tony Bradley, or at least it was Tony Bradley. I'm at least going to get some of both of those big men. I'm also going right back to DeLon Wright in the same way that I did in Game 5. Now, did I like going to DeLon Wright in Game 5? I didn't. I would have greatly preferred it to be Landry Shamet, but it wasn't. And now I'm back again doing the same thing. But that's what I have to do in these scenarios. I am taking on more ownership to the higher dollar players to make my lineup more unique with the lower dollar players. In Bradley, in Wright, in Miles McBride, once again, I'm going right back to that well. Not mad about it. And then my two biggest stands otherwise are Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. So it's all running in lockstep. I'm having a lot of trouble getting to the mid-range. I'm having no trouble getting to everything at the top and everything at the bottom. The Knicks bottom, I'm way more nervous about than the Pacers bottom. Well, I guess I'm nervous about the Pacers, but I'm just clueless about the Pacers. Like, they can just kind of be anything. All right, so I'm going to take that down a notch. I'm going to hopefully get both of those guys. All right, let's see where we end up. I am clicking run for what should be the final time. Hit that like button. We've got 12 minutes and change left to go. I've hit on all of the major things that I'm looking at for this slate. Now I'm going to pull up the FanDuel side just to hit the high notes. The conversation behind Halliburton, Towns, Brunson, and Siakam is all basically the same. They're all priced in a similar way. They're all owned in a similar way. Towns is getting a little bit more ownership on FanDuel, but the message here is largely the same. Same sort of mid-tier on this side. Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, Turner, all in this 45-ish% owned range. All kind of the exact same play. And then you focus down on the value of McConnell, who I would probably be getting away from. Toppin, I think, actually looks a bit better on FanDuel. Mathurin is sitting there at 1,800, just waiting to mess this slate up. If he goes hot in front of the home crowd, they're going to get up for it. So I think the value looks a little bit different on FanDuel, but the overall thought process for me would still be the same. I'd be very focused on the top four guys, much less focused on the mid-tier values or players, and much more focused on the lower dollar players, at least on the FanDuel end. All right, I'm going to update my exposures just to make sure nothing changed. I can't imagine anything changed wholesale, but you never know. Hoping for a sweat tonight. Guys, who wins? It's game 6. We're in Indy. Who wins this game? Do we get a game 7, or is this bad boy over till Thursday? Very curious. It's more Knicks than wow. Now it's equaling out. I mean, these answers should be relatively equal. I mean, I want the Pacers to win the series, but I would really prefer 7 games. And the idea of the Pacers beating the Knicks in 7 games in New York is incredibly satisfying. I got to be honest with you guys. I that wouldn't break my heart in any way. It would be funny. It would be heartbreaking. Do they win it in 7? Brunson hits Halliburton with the choke. Oh, it would be incredible. All right, I'm uploading my lineups right now. I'll give you guys the final. Is that right now? 8:23? Nope. Where the hell did I save that? Did I save it? I downloaded my lineups. I don't know where the hell I downloaded them to. That's a new one. Downloaded the lineups, pasted them into a CSV, went to open the CSV, no sign of it. Just not there. So either I didn't save it or I don't know, maybe I dreamed doing everything that I was doing. All right, there we go. Lineups are saved. Lineups are uploaded. Bang, lineups are in. Okay, to summarize my nonsense, just in case anything changed. Toppin is still my biggest fade. McConnell is still in the top 5 of my biggest fades, as is Nembhard, Neesmith, and Bridges. Kind of the same path I took in game 5. I'm light on Neesmith. I'm heavy on Brunson. Those two things run in synergy for me. I do now have some Jarris Walker. That is a new thing for me. I have less DeLon Wright, a little bit more Jarris Walker, and very little Thomas Bryant or Tony Bradley. I'm going to try to correct that. I'd like a little bit of both of them. I'm going to give each of them an extra minute and rerun the Sims. All right, guys, hit me with your questions. Whatever you got for the next 8 minutes, dump them into chat right now. I'll take whatever you got. And hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Don't forget, live on playback tonight, watching the game. I'll pop in if the bad boy's close. And you can sign up for OddsShopper whenever you want. Link in the description. 7-day free trial. Take a market-based approach to beating the books. Parlay builders, odds boost calculators. Do it for the pick'em sites as well. What more do you want? Mass entry, mobile betting. I could go on. And you could research every portfolio you want. Look at all of the historical data and figure out exactly what you want to bet on. Heart or OG on FanDuel? What an impossible question that is. 55% owned for a Heart, 45% owned for Anunoby. You know, it sort of depends on what that $800 does for you. In general, Josh Hart is a better play than OG Anunoby, but it kind of depends on what's in the rest of your lineup. Those two guys are way too equal to me. Damien, I'm getting Halliburton as my top captain. Yes. He is, at least was, my most exposed captain. What the hell did I just name that file? Number 4. Too many files open right now. Matherin's captain ownership on DK, non-existent. If it's not Halliburton, Towns, Brunson, or Siakam, no one's ownership at captain matters. Essentially. If it's not one of the main 4 guys, the ownership of the rest of these guys is insignificant. Just assume it's always 5 or less. And if it's 5 or less, all those numbers are the same number. All right. Whatever my updated lineups are, these are going to be what I have. I made one small tweak. It didn't result in me getting any more of Thomas Bryant. It didn't result in me getting any more of Tony Bradley. So no changes. No changes. Let's see what other question. Last piece, Wright or Bradley? I mean, I think Wright is certainly the safer option. I would say Bradley is the guy you're looking for if you're trying to be significantly different. If you're trying to make a lineup with very little duplication, my expectation is that people get scared off of Tony Bradley. I think there's more upside in the Tony Bradley play if you're trying to roll the dice and win like the full lotto. Let's see what else we got in here. Can either team beat SGA? No. I mean, either one of these teams that show up are going to get absolutely steamrolled by Oklahoma City. So That is of very little significance to me. Adam, I have 0 bridges. How big of a mistake is that? I mean, it kind of depends on how many lineups you're playing. Like if it's 3, then not. If it's 20, it's probably not what you want to do. If it's 150, it's probably a real bad move. Andrew, thank you. You're the first person that said anything that I've ever noticed in here. So I appreciate it. I've been waiting for someone to say something. All right, let's try this again. I'm rerunning. Jake, Brunson captain if you want to ship a tourney. I mean, he's my second most exposed captain right now. Look, Brunson is only locked in as healthy as Aaron Nesmith is. Let's be very clear here. Brunson will not... No, John C., I meant for that poster specifically, because it's relatively new. I had to get rid of the Liverpool rat off my wall, so had to make sure we got that one up there. But yeah, Brunson is locked in if Nesmith isn't healthy. But when Aaron Nesmith is healthy, that is a win matchup for Nesmith and a loss matchup for Jalen Brunson. Sometimes you just run into a guy that has your number-ish, and Aaron Nesmith has his number. That's a thing to me. I think that's very real. Yeah, I can't get myself to Thomas Bryant, and I can't get myself to Tony Bradley, even with changes, which is pretty surprising to me. I'm a little shocked that that's not happening. Do I? You got to fade one of the top 4. I mean, it's pretty hard to build a lot of lineups with the top 4 in it, I think. I mean, I would imagine I don't have a lot of lineups with the top 4 guys in them. Surely I have some, but I would imagine I don't have a ton. But I mean, there's definitely not a you gotta do this because it hasn't happened in 5 games thing. That's absolutely untrue. Let's see if I have them. So that's Towns, Siakam, Halliburton, and who am I missing? Where is his name? Oh, Jalen Brunson. Got it. Couldn't find him anywhere. All right, if I paste those in. How many do I have with these 4 idiots? Oh, let's find out. Guys, get your lineups in, by the way. 50 seconds to go before this show is over, before we get to watch the Pacers win this game and go to the finals. It's going to be amazing to see. By the way, I have no lineups with all 4 of them. 3 lineups. Or I have half of my lineups have 3 of the big 4. Half of my lineups have 2. So I don't even have a lineup with all 4 of them. Which is probably because it's not possible. Or at least very close to not possible. But either way, we have 10 seconds to go before Game 6. Playback is already live. We're sharing OddsShopper. We'll be putting the game on immediately after this show. And just out of curiosity, what channel is this game on today? It's on TNT, which means this game will be starting in 5 minutes. These guys are quick on TNT. If this one were on ESPN, go get yourself a little bit of a rest because they wouldn't be up for 15 minutes. But we're on in 5 minutes. Playback.tv/Stokastic. Be there. I might hop on earlier today. I'm going to go get some stuff done in the house before the wife gets home. But I might come on and watch some basketball immediately. Good luck, everybody. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy it, because we're not getting Game 7.